What's up, everyone? I'm Rick Knight. Welcome back to another video here at The Bad Philosopher. Okay, so just rehashing an old article that I never got around to making a video to. Congressman Steve Cohen, a Democrat from Tennessee, has introduced a bill to eliminate the Electoral College. Now, this article was back in January. I was just like looking over some stuff, and I saw notes that I was writing, and I just never got around to making that video. So here I am, just giving a brief, stupid opinion about the matter. He's saying that it is outdated and it needs to be eliminated. That it's a distorted way of voting. To say that it's outdated, it's like, well, what else could we say is outdated? The Electoral College is something that was first introduced in 1786, I believe. It might have gone through some changes over the years. I think in like the late 20th century, they redid it or something. They made some changes, whatever. I didn't really catch up on all the readings about it. It's outdated. Outdated in what way? I mean, we can literally say that anything in the Constitution is outdated. Whatever we don't like, we can just point to it and say, it's outdated. It's the law. We are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. We are a nation of laws. We are not a nation of, we get to just vote, on what we want. For everything, we have a law, we follow the law, that's it. There's no need, this whole democracy thing with the left, that they love their democracy and everything's threatening their democracy, and they think democracy is supposed to be, the end all be all of everything, and it's not the case. We have laws. We are a nation of laws. If you want to say that the Electoral College is outdated, I mean, we could say the First Amendment is outdated, right? We could say that the Second Amendment is outdated, the Third Amendment. We could just say that everything of the Constitution is completely outdated, which the liberals wouldn't mind doing. They would rather just tear up the Constitution, throw it away, and then just, have a show of hands for every single issue, and therefore they will always win because they will always have a majority of the votes. You see, you have the Electoral College, which prevents a majority rule over the minority. So I think, was it Adam Smith? I think it was Adam Smith that spoke about the tyranny of the majority, right? So here it is in the state of New York, where I'm from, and in the eastern seaboard, and then you have California. In the western seaboard, you have the highest dense population. We know that most of the cities in this country have a more they're more popularly. More population, they're more dense, they have more voting power. They tend to be very liberal, extremely liberal, especially California and New York. And, California and New York alone can really take a president all the way to the White House, a candidate all the way to the White House, right? Now, if you know anything a little bit about political science, I'm not an expert in the subject, I never claimed to be, but you do know that people are socialized to be either, a Democrat or Republican. They are socialized in to take up a religion or no religion, or, this socialization of children and people, it's there. As population grows and you're in a very liberal city, more and more people will be socialized into voting Democrat, or to taking on Democratic ideas and stuff like that. And especially when they've been targeting kids for a long time and introducing all this social justice warrior nonsense into the schools, into elementary schools, junior high schools, and then into colleges. They will already completely outnumber us in terms of voting. The Electoral College is to keep everything fair. It's a majority of states get to pick the next president, not majority of the people. So they're saying the popular vote should win the election. The popular vote should pick the next president, and that's the case, then we will never have a non-democratic president. It'll be very easy for them to get in there, get their socialism into into our political system, which is, it's already there on the left. They will get a socialist president every election cycle, and it's over with for us. It would pretty much end. This is what they are planning on doing. They're planning on not that, they can plan for it, but I don't think it's going to work to eliminate the Electoral College from the Constitution. I mean, you need it's like 2/3 of the House and Senate, and it's just not. I don't see it happening, but they will try, and just by trying alone, kind of shows you the type of people they are. Now, Socrates, as you probably know already, the ancient Greek philosopher, also known as the father of philosophy of Western philosophy. Never liked democracy. He said that a democracy was not, it was harmful to a nation. You are allowing people who are not necessarily educated in a lot of subject matters to vote, and they're gonna vote not based on their intellect or understanding or knowledge of the political system or the social system and stuff like that, and then you'll pretty much get people in power that shouldn't be there. This is exactly what he was talking about. The Democrats, they will just vote on their emotions and their feelings. They will vote based on the color of the candidate's skin or the gender or their sexuality or anything of that nature. They won't listen to arguments. They won't listen to reason. They won't listen to the debates, and they won't vote on someone based on that person's track record. They're immediately going to go to an emotional voting response. They're going to vote for someone who either looks like them or someone who looks opposite of the person that they hate, which is Republicans. Conservatives, they hate us, so they want to vote for anyone that doesn't look like us. If you're not a cisgender straight white male, Christian, patriarch, then that's who they want to vote for. It's a stupid idea. It is just another way to gain control. It's another way to shut us down. If that law were to be implemented, up next they will definitely try to destroy the First Amendment and really stop us from being able to speak out. We wouldn't be able to share our ideas. We wouldn't have a candidate that would be able to go out there and speak to the public and try to persuade them into voting for him, and because he's a Republican and there's no free speech, and they'll easily shut him down and accuse him of breaking some law, some hate speech law or something that they still can't define. These ultra radical liberals want a hate speech law, and they haven't even defined what hate speech actually is. It's pretty much any speech that you don't like, you can easily consider it to be hate speech. But the Electoral College, it's not going anywhere. We need it. It's a useful tool. It prevents the flyover states, the smaller states with a smaller population. It prevents them from not having a voice. You have each state gets to decide who they want for their president, and the candidate who wins the most states wins the presidency. So it is a voting type. It is democracy in a sense, and we do get to vote. We do get to cast out our opinion, or our voice is counted. It's not by the population. If you allow it to be by the population, I mean, all we have to do is come up with some new crazy idea. And if the majority of the people, if the majority of the population accepts that idea, then majority rule, that idea wins. And even if it screws over the minority of the people, it's a democracy. We have two wolves and we have a sheep. We are going to vote on who's for dinner. And when the two wolves outnumber the sheep, and the sheep just pretty much gets eaten, this is what's going to happen. We need a law to protect the sheep. We need a law to keep everything fair. That's what the Electoral College is. It is a system in place to prevent one party from gaining such a large population and dominating the other. It equals them out. I thought the Democrats wanted equality. I thought that's what they were about, inclusion and all this stuff. So diversity and all this nonsense. Their holy trinity, their social justice religion. But they don't actually want that for us. They only want it for them. That's why they want to eliminate the Electoral College. We won't have a voice. We will never win. The popular vote of the country will always win. They have the dominant in numbers, especially when every year people turn 18, they're allowed to vote. They already gotten to the kids through the Board of Education. They've already been indoctrinating them for a long time. Most students in schools, They don't know how to have a rational argument. They don't know how to formulate an idea or an opinion. They're still young, so it's easy to get to them. It's easy to push this leftist radical ideology onto them. You see it, especially here in New York City. In New York City, you see it here all the time. You get on the train, and I'm seeing more and more younger transgender people on the train headed to school. You see, I'm seeing more and more like, two young high school girls or two young high school boys holding hands and kissing on the train. I'm seeing that more, a little bit more and more often. I don't want to get into the argument of transgenderism and homosexuality and this and that. I'm not getting into that argument, but you do know when you see something like that, you do know you're in a liberal city. When you see that, you do know that those are liberal ideology. That is something of a liberal nature. You do know that the schools they go to. I mean, this is just common sense. You do know that the schools they go to are overwhelmingly Democrat. It's overwhelmingly left wing. These are the next voters. They're right around the corner from voting. Who do you think they're going to vote for? They're not going to vote for Republican. They're going to vote for Democrat. And when you have this throughout the country, when you have this taken root throughout the country, because you've been implementing certain policies in the schools, we're all for anti-bullying, and it's so easy to implement anti-bullying policies and then adding LGBTQ, R2D2, C3PO stuff into that. And now you're just bringing about these ideas into schools, teaching them. You have in some schools now gay history and LGBT history, and some of the colleges you have to take these silly anti-racist classes or something, or whatever the hell it's called, like the diversity training you have to go to in some of the colleges before you start your actual program. That they added this to it, and of course it's there to indoctrinate you into left-wing ideology. We don't stand a chance. We don't stand a chance to have a voice, to have any equal footing when it comes to electing a president. That's what the Electoral College is about. Now, let's just say the country switches over at some point in the future, and let's say it becomes majority conservative and it's a majority Christian conservative, and they're trying to push their Christian values. It wouldn't be fair to someone like me who doesn't believe in religion, who doesn't really care for for God. I'm not a religious person. I'm an atheist. I don't care for religion. I don't want religion pushed on me. If that's what you want to do, by all means, go ahead and enjoy your religion, your belief, live the life that best fits you. I don't care. I just don't want religion pushed on me. If the country moves too far right and everyone gets to pick the next president, they're going to pick the next president based on religion. It's not going to be fair to us when that president wants to enforce religious rules or religious laws of some sort that might hurt the minority. And I would say the same thing. That's why we have an electoral college, to try to give us equal footing so we can decide what the next president is going to be per state, not per person. Because if there's too many people on to the population, if most of the population leans to one particular type of issue or way of life, then what happens to the minority of the people that are not for that? I mean, if majority of the people wanted slavery in this country, they wanted to bring it back, should we? Absolutely not. We shouldn't bring it back because it's immoral. We have a law to prevent slavery from ever showing back up here in the country. If majority of the people, I wouldn't care if every single human being, every single person in America wanted slavery but one, we still cannot have slavery in this country. Even if that one wanted it, we just can't have this against the law, and that's it. It's within the Constitution. So this whole ending the Electoral College is nonsense. Congressman Steve Cohen, you're just grasping at straws at this point. It's just more silliness coming from the left, and being that they took over the House, it's a bill that most likely will get passed in the House, and it's not going to get past the Senate. It will, obviously it's going to get vetoed if it makes it to the White House, and they'll never get the votes. They'll never get the 2/3 votes. They'll never get the 2/3 votes in Congress. Period. The president's not going to sign on for it. It wouldn't even make its way to the Supreme Court. Even if it did, it would get shot down. So it is kind of a waste of time. This is what they're doing with our tax money. Pretty much just wasting their time on nonsensical ideas to further put us, into just a bad situation. So, okay, I just wanted to get that out there, see what you guys think about it. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and I will see you guys on the next video.